told her colleague Carlos that she wanted to divorce Jacob. Julia explained to Carlos that Jacob was a wonderful person and a good husband, but she was in love with another woman.
War isn't a game, girl.
That's funny. Soldier 76 said the same thing.
You spend your second chance at life walking a lonely road.
No one cares, monk.
Someone always cares. You must simply seek them out.
I shouldn't be surprised you took his side.
You never gave me much choice. Wanna know what Martina's been up to?
Not interested.
That's not what my tracker says.
Are you ever tempted to contact your wife?
No,
Afraid she would try to kill you?
I'd be surprised if she didn't.
Your body seems to be adapting well to the changes, Gabriel.
This is what you call well.
Welcome, my friends. My name is Antoine Phoenix, and this is my RP experience. Peace and love to all my brothers and sisters out there. Thank you for hitting the like button, subscribing, sharing, and turn on all notifications so you know when I have a whole new video up. Today's video is going to be about a crime of passion with this woman that wanted to off her husband. Now, why would a wife want to off her husband? Was he being awful to her? Was he beating her? What is the story there? Now, wait. I have a video by, what's his name, Mr. Wesley. And he made a comment on my video. And I went to go see his site. And he has some nice crime stories over there. Now, I like these stories in particular because I know me as a man, if I was young, when I was younger, it would have helped me to see videos of women in a negative light so that it would stop me from putting them on the pedestal, to see the dirt and the damage that they can do to a relationship, to a man. Exactly, things like that. Because I know men can be evil, destructive, can harm their women, can be real abusive. Yes, we know this because it has been put out on media many of times. But I often feel like in women's cases, they try to shield what women do. Now, it's not so much today because women are exposing themselves, but you don't often hear the story, especially on the news or online, when women have did some atrocious things. So we're going to hop right into this video right now, and I will be right back.
In the early months of 2013, 27-year-old Jacob Murfeld and 21-year-old Julia Murfeld moved from New Jersey to Muskegon, Michigan. Jacob and Julia had been married for 4 years. They were an ordinary married couple starting a new life in a new city, planning their future together. However, Julia had begun to envision a life without Jacob. In late March 2013, Julia told her colleague Carlos that she wanted to divorce Jacob. Julia explained to Carlos that Jacob was a wonderful person and a good husband, but she was in love with another woman.
Well, we are not just going to glaze over that one right there. It's a video I still haven't done yet, talking about the different types of women that you should be cautious not to date. But I'm going to touch on it here. And what I'm talking about is the bisexual woman. Now, does this apply to all bisexual women? Probably not. But because I came across 2 to 3 women that it was this certain type of issue with, me personally, I would avoid women that date other women. Unless if we're just having fun, we're just hanging out. It's nothing really serious. Maybe I might even get into a relationship until it gets around the 1 to 2 year thing where they want to get married, and I will have to put an all stop on that. Because my thinking is this: even though a lot of men, now, unless if you have this situation right here, but as Adam 22 learned, even if you have a woman that's bisexual and you think you are getting over like a bandit with her bringing other women into your relationship, whereas you can have fun with your wife and have fun with the other woman, eventually she may want another man. And there's not going to be too much you can say, unless if you are a pimp and is going to go upside her head or something, that you can say. Because for the longest time, you have been getting all your needs met. And now she wants to just have something different. So once again, because I'm not a moral person in that sense all the time that something is wrong, we need to do something right. In some things I am, especially with the big things. But with a lot of things, I'm like that when it comes to, I would not want it done to me. I would not cheat on her because I would not want her to cheat on me. Unless if she cheats on me, and then it's like, what should I do? Should I just leave? Or should I just get revenge? Yeah. That's the thing right there. Anyway, getting back to this, and I'm going to I'm probably not going to stop the story again. I just wanted to stop right here because when you're dealing with a woman, if you're a heterosexual man and you're dealing with a woman that dates both men and women, to me, that gives her a double chance to get bored of you eventually. And even if maybe she don't want to get with another man, she may want to leave you for another woman. And what can you say to that? Nothing. Now, even though it may hurt, if it's just a relationship, okay, you can eventually get over it. But if you're married and you have kids, you're going to take loss. Okay? So I would advise men, and I know I have some friends of mine that are bisexual, but I'm sorry, I have to say it. I would advise men that if you are dealing with a bisexual woman, do not get her pregnant. And I probably wouldn't marry her, because if you marry her, then you're kind of going to want to do the next step of having kids. I would not do it, only because I had a bad experience with it. Now, I'm pretty sure there are some guys out there that might be okay with their woman running around on them with other men, like Destiny did. And how did that work for him? She found a man that she likes better than him, that gave her what he could not, and then she left. Okay? And that is the problem once you let anybody else in your relationship, whether it's man or woman. So let's continue.
Carlos listened and offered support to his co-worker. However, he was shocked by what Julia revealed in their subsequent conversations. Over the next few days, Julia confided in Carlos that she believed her husband's death would be quicker and better than a prolonged divorce process. Julia even made a shocking proposal to Carlos. She offered to pay him $50,000 if he would assist in her husband's murder. She planned to make the payment in installments of $10,000. Julia did not have the money up front, but she expected to receive a payout from an insurance policy after her husband's death. Jacob's insurance policy was worth $400,000, which would be enough to cover the cost of the planned assassination and start a new life with her girlfriend. Initially, Carlos did not take Julia's words seriously. He thought she was joking and going through a tough time in her life. However, when Julia persistently explained her plans and made the financial offer, Carlos realized there was a serious problem. Deciding to take action, Carlos secretly went to the police. The detective learned about Julia's plans but couldn't make an arrest due to a lack of evidence beyond Carlos's testimony. The detective devised a plan and asked Carlos to arrange a meeting between him and Julia. In this plan, the detective would play the role of a willing hitman. Carlos agreed to participate. On April 9th, the detective, playing the role of a hitman, arranged to meet Julia in a parking lot. The detective had previously installed a hidden camera in his car and a concealed microphone in his attire. Let's watch the secret camera recording of Julia discussing the murder plot.
JC?
Yes.
Becca.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay,
So, I guess we got a little business to discuss.
Yeah. Harry told you how much, right?
He said you mentioned 50. Okay. I mean, I would prefer to have something, at the beginning to see, to
Well,
make
the
sure
only-
that you're
The only
you're
problem with
serious
that
about
is
this.
I don't have it until, because it's all his life insurance.
Gotcha.
So,
Well, Carlos said, how do you want it done? I mean, he mentioned a couple different things to me. Said
If it
something
looked
about
like a
giving him
robbery.
shot or something first.
yeah.
or
Well,
then
yeah, we were
talk
talking about
something else.
insulin.
Okay. But you want it to look like a break-in?
I have a girlfriend who wants to move in with me, and I don't want her to be scared to move in with me. And if she thinks that we got broken into and then Jake got,
Yeah, that's probably she wouldn't want to move in.
Yeah, so I'm kind of afraid of that because I want her to move in with me because I don't want to live there by myself afterwards.
Well, you tell me how you want it done. I don't know what Carlos told you about me, but I mean, I've done a couple of things like this before, and I'll get it done, and I just need to know what you want done. I can do it any way you want me to, but I just want to know how you want it done.
Really, whatever's easiest. If you can get him outside, that would be great.
Okay.
But if you absolutely can't, I'll understand.
So you want me to I guess I'm not understanding you. So you don't want it done in the house then?
Because it would be messy in the house.
Well, bring that with you tomorrow.
Okay, time frame though. Can it be either not this week? Can it be a week or two from now?
Well, you tell me. It can be any time you want. I thought you were in a hurry.
I was looking at my calendar and I was thinking either the 18th of April or the 25th.
So Thursdays.
Yeah, Thursdays.
All right. So you know what you're going to bring tomorrow?
Yes, you're going to bring. I'm going to bring house plan map to get up to the room where he's going to hang out, a picture of him, a list of the things you want taken, and a down payment.
Yep. Right. We good?
Yep. Sounds good. Thank you very much.
I'll see you tomorrow.
1 o'clock.
Yep. You got my number if anything
do.
changes.
Thank you.
In the captured footage from the hidden camera, it is evident that Julia discussed her ruthless plans in a positive state of mind. She was completely unaware that she was sitting with a fake hitman, the detective. According to Julia, she had convinced herself that the planned assassination would be better for everyone. If her husband Jacob died, there would be no emotional distress due to divorce, making it easier for Julia to start a new life with her girlfriend. Additionally, Julia didn't want to know the details of the crime from the hitman. She believed that the less she knew about the crime, the more naturally she could express shock at her husband's death. During the meeting with the detective, Julia suggested that the crime should take place between April 18th and 25, as she would be at work on those days. The detective asked Julia to bring the floor plan of her house, a photograph of her husband, and a list of items to be stolen to make the incident appear like a failed robbery. Julia also promised to bring some money as a sign of her commitment. The next day, Julia came to the meeting with everything she promised. She had drawn a floor plan of her house, indicating easy entry points. Julia also brought a photograph of her husband and $100. During the second meeting, the detective tried to change Julia's mind, attempting to suppress her emotions. At some point, it seemed like Julia might change her mind as she began to cry and express sadness. However, she ultimately did not change her decision. Julia asked the detective about the consequences if she were caught suddenly. The detective assured her that if she paid the promised amount, he would take full responsibility for the crime, and her name would not be mentioned in court. After finalizing the agreement, the detective exited the car. Unaware that she had been talking to an undercover detective, Julia got out of the car. A few seconds later, The detective followed suit, displaying his police badge, and arrested Julia. Within 3 months of her arrest, Julia prepared her defense for the court. On June 27, 2013, she admitted to the attempted murder charge. The judge revoked Julia's right to bail. 3 days later, Julia's trial took place.
I would like to start out by saying that I do not believe that I'm above punishment. I know that what I did was wrong, and I take full responsibility for it. My tears are not for your pity, Your Honor. My tears are for remorse. Excuse me. Fortunately, the two people who matter most have already forgiven me. My husband, who actually sits behind me right now, has already forgiven me. And the second is God. And honestly, they're the only two people who matter. I don't want to go to prison, obviously, who does? But if that's where God sees fit to send me through you, Your Honor, then I will take my punishment humbly and without complaint. The Lord has blessed me so much this far, I don't have anything to complain about.
I would like to say I start this off by I wholeheartedly forgive my wife for all she has done in this act of hatred. I know that my wife is a wonderful person. She is a godly woman, even so much more so now than she ever has been.
Despite Jacob's plea for leniency, the judge sentenced Julia to 20 years in prison to ensure that her 2 children would not grow up without a mother.
All right, let's cut it right there, even though that was the end of the video. But look, that's a good dude right there. I probably would do some simp stuff like that. See, and that is the thing that I say with men. When we really love a woman, even when she's fucking up, we still got love for her. Not to say that women don't do that too, but you always do it to the worst dudes. The dudes that are smacking you up. The dudes that are in and out of prison. The dudes that really, I guess, be pushing your emotional buttons. But if you have a good dude, like that dude right there, and she said it herself, there's nothing wrong with him. It's just that she don't feel the same. She's in love with another woman. So, as a good dude, what do you get out of this particular thing?
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Now, I will say, it's probably not all bisexual women, but whenever I hear that term, that is plenty fish in the sea, I'm like, well, I'm not immortal. So I only have so many chances to get it right with the women that I spent a significant amount of time with. Unless if like now I have a somewhat mini checkoff list that will definitely eliminate her quickly so that I do not get to the point of wasting time. Because as I said before, if a woman initially likes me or if she's in a desperate enough thing and she thinks I'm a good dude or a decent dude or I'm Mr. Right Now, she's going to be on her best behavior. And I say that I can turn a bad girl into a good girl, at least for a year or two. Okay? And it might be some holes in there, but then in the back of my mind, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So living by that right there, some things I will let slide. But with my experiences, I can't let things slide, especially as I'm getting older and I have more to lose now because I don't want to be in a situation again of having a woman that I loved at a time, that we have a kid. I may conceive the kid whenever I want, but still the kid and I is separated. So I'm part-time dad. And at the same time, I'm forced to pay her money for child support. And once again, because I had a kid with the woman, I don't mind helping out financially, but I'm not going to continue that trend like some men have done. And I'm not going to be doing multiple marriages like what Robin Williams that was on his third marriage and then he offed himself and he probably was going through depression and other things, but you can't tell me the fact that his last wife was going to divorce him, that did not contribute to it. Anyway, I have a little short story right here. It's not going to be that long. Of this woman that I had met that was bisexual. She had short hair, but she was cute. I guess you could say that she was attractive, but she was definitely my type. She was like thin toned and she had a nice personality. Well, a friendly personality. Now I had met her through a friend. Now I'm going to call her Bev for short. There's no way that you will be able to find this person because I have no pictures with this person, and this was before my ex-wife. But anyway, her name was Bev, and a friend of mine, I'm just going to call him Chucky, had introduced me to her. Now she took a liking to me. She was white, I was black. Now she was dating this older guy that was a mechanic. So I kind of pretty much backed off. But she always invited me, and plus I was going to hang out with my friend Chucky to the bar. Now, I barely drink, so usually one vodka and cranberry juice because I cannot stand beer. I'm good. So I would go over there after work and chill with them for a while. After a while, her and the mechanic, well, she told me they broke up, but I think she was still seeing him. And I think I see now because obviously the guy liked her, but she found a use for him because he was a mechanic so that she could fix her car, okay, and keep her car running and she don't have to be paying other things. And that's the thing that I don't like about a lot of women. They'll have men around, they'll have people around, period, but they'll have men around that they can use for certain things that they can do. It's not always money. Sometimes it's a function. And actually, a woman broke it down to me one time of how she could not meet a man that has everything that she wants, but she could meet men that fill in certain gaps of things that she needs. So she has a man to take her shopping, a man to drive her around, a man for the sex. You get the idea. Anyway, back to the story. So this woman, she and I eventually started hanging out. She stood me up a couple of times, but I was still young. I think I was like maybe 24 around the time. Okay, I forget exactly. Yeah, 24 or 23 around that time. I was still pretty young. I forget how old she was, but I know she had a kid. Okay, which I never met. And eventually we did hook up and it was good. And I remember, well, I told a story a long time ago that it was a woman that I was with that she did some type of maneuver that kind of popped the condom. And she did it so quick and fluently. This was that woman. She had did that. Okay. Fortunately, I pulled out in time, so it was no babies on deck, but yeah. Now, before that had happened, I would hang out with her. And I remember one time she took me to see her ex-girlfriend. Now, I think she took me to show her ex-girlfriend of the guy that she was with. Okay. So the ex-girlfriend was black and she kind of was like mad and they got into a fight because I went outside. They got into a fight in ex-girlfriend's house and the ex-girlfriend that beat her up. And actually that night was the night I believe, yeah, she and I had hooked up then. Okay. So, see, is that kind of crazy thing right there when you are dealing with someone that deals with both genders that can happen. Then it was a time that we went out to a bar and she ended up hooking up with this girl that was there right in front of me outside, but she and I was not boyfriend and girlfriend. But still, okay, I'm just like looking and the woman she hooked up with, she was like, okay. What made a difference if she was like hot and attractive? Yes, I guess it was. And then it was other men that was standing around that was observing and was like egging them on. And then I just left. Or did I hook up with her that night? I forget. It was either the night she got beat up by her ex-girlfriend or either it was that night, because I know once I start feeling a really certain kind of way, I would just leave without telling the person. I would just be like, Psh, I'm out. So that experience right there for me does not, that idea that a lot of men have that if you get a bisexual woman that you won't have two hot attractive women kiss you on the cheek and y'all both going to be in the bed or something, that right there is fantasy. Unless if you are rich and famous and you are able to, I guess, take both women underneath your roof, or either take care of the woman so much that she doesn't want to leave you, but she will bring other women there and then you can partake in it. Now if you can pull that off and if you're cool with that, then do it. Otherwise, I would not do it. So that was my short story with that. That's why I'm not saying I'm against kind of messing around with a bisexual woman, but I cannot take them seriously because most of them I know are all over the place. And if you're a man, I feel like they will just use and abuse you. But at the same time, they'll use and abuse women too and get with a guy that they say they're not interested in. So yeah, I can't really trust them really, because I'm like, pick a team to be on. Okay. So give me a like, subscribe. Have a good day.
It's the intention. It's the fact that he made a point and said, "Hey, I've got this. I want to."